So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw that first. First, I'm going to draw that back, right? So I'm going to draw a polyline. I'm making this up. Obviously, you should use real dimensions based on your drawing. Let's make that like 18 inches, and that's 30 inches, right? That's the back. That's the profile of the back. But I'm going to round these edges because it's rounded, right? So let's try 6 inches. How's that look? That looks pretty good. Okay. So that's the back. So that's actually the main part of this. Okay. So what I'm going to do is before I do anything else, I'm going to draw a circle at the end of this. Right. So I'm going to take this. Rotate my UCS here just so I could see it. And then do that. Rotate my UCS so that my XY plane is long. It's perpendicular to this path, right? So that I could draw a circle that is vertical. So I'll draw that. And that thing is probably maybe an inch thick, so a radius of 0.5, right? So that's that first leg, right? So I'm going to rotate these two things. So that it's up at an angle like the that section of the chair is. So I'm going to use 3D rotate. I'm going to rotate it along this axis. Actually, what I'm going to do is move the constraints over. Can I do that? Hold on, I'm trying to move this. Why is it not letting me rotate, move it? All right, let's try this again. Rotate this at an angle. Let's call it, I don't know, something like that. And again, I'm eyeballing this. If I was doing this for real, I would actually measure these. So that's 60 degrees, roughly. Okay. So now I can extrude that little circle along this path to give me that part of the leg, right? So now what I can do is, I think I want to model the seat, because the seat is really going to help me generate some of this geometry. So let's see, what is the best thing to do here? I'm going to draw the seat, polyline. I think I made this thing up. Let's change my UCS back to world so that it's straight. Draw my seat as a polyline. I think I made it 18 inches wide, right? So let's make it a little bit shorter because of the bars on the side. So instead of 18, I'll make it 17. And then the seat itself is probably another 17. It's close to being square, close, right? And I can round these edges, maybe not 6, maybe like 3. Let's see what 3 looks like. That looks okay. Now this won't be perfect, but it'll certainly look like what it's supposed to look like. So let's move this. Properties. Where's my Z axis? So let's draw a line so I can find the midpoint of where these rails are. so that's where my seat's going to be, right? So I'll select the circle here, and then move this to the middle of where that is, right? But we know it's kind of straddling where that is. So I'm going to move this here and then move it up vertically into position of where it should be. So I'll go to my 3D move constraints, and it's probably going to go up maybe 12, maybe like 14, 15 inches up. Does that look right? That looks a little high. So let's move this down. Right, that looks a little bit better. Right, maybe it needs to move back a hair. Right? Then I could extrude this like 1.5 inches because that's the seat. Right? It's starting to come together. So one piece at a time. All right. So once I have that there, then now I can draw the pieces that go along here. Right. So that's, again, very simply, actually, it's probably more like it probably comes up to here. Again, I don't have a picture of it, but it comes up to here somewhere. So I can extrude a cylinder. Let's say the radius is 0.5 and extrude this, I don't know, 12 inches for now. I could change the height of that if I need to. I could rotate this. Let's 3D rotate this in this axis. So I'm trying to put it aligned with this rail here, right? But there's nothing to snap to. So what I can do is I can snap to the end here because I know that's going to be at the midpoint. And once I get it there, I could then move it vertically to where I want it to. So one of the things I can do is I can also change this view to a left view. Oh, let me move it away from the sink because it's right. So that's where that is. So I can move it here and then move it up to the position that I want it to be in. So I can hold on. Let's change the UCS, or better yet, let's draw the line here. Just so I know how far to draw this. Let's change the UCS. UCS. Nope, that's not it. Hold on, let's do this. So that looks like it's pretty much aligned. So I'm just moving this vertically in position, right? And if I have one there, I can mirror it across this line. There it is. put that over there, right? It's coming along. So again, there's a cylinder across the front here that I can model. But again, the easiest thing to do is to model some of these things in place. So if I move the UCS to that location, and I can rotate my Z-axis to go in the direction that I want the extrusion to go, I could construct the cylinder from here. 0.5 is my radius, and extrude it to here, right? And again, move that into place. So we're getting there. So let's take this seat. Let's see if I could round this out a little bit. Radius 0.5. Okay, now for this back, what I can do is, again, if I take my UCS, keeps on happening. If I move it to, let's say, where the lines are that define that back piece, I can rotate my UCS so that it follows that angle, right? So that UCS follows the angle of that. And then now I can kind of draw in this back piece. And what I can do is, if that line still exists, I don't know if that line still exists. Oh, that line doesn't exist anymore. So I might have to draw it again. So if I draw this, I could actually draw it anywhere. I could draw it here. 30. I think I made this 18. And then 30 again. And then I'll round over each edge 6 inches again. Right, so now this profile matches this profile, right? But I know that back doesn't go all the way down. It's going to end about here, right? So I can draw a line from here to here, move this down a couple of inches, and then trim this. Right, then I could take this and make this a P-line, polyline, or join this with this, and now that's a polyline. Now I can extrude this ever so slightly because it's not that thick, that section. So I could extrude this maybe like 1/4 of an inch, right? And then move this over to, oh, how far did I move it over? I should have moved it over a specific distance, but I could do this. I could draw the line here. From midpoint to midpoint, and I can move this from here to here. Move it too far down. It's pretty close. Yeah?